Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have a confession that will put you in your seat till you are through with listening. This confession is a deeper one from a brother who wants to go with us deep into how he was healing people in his church with the dark powers of witchcraft, even though he was a pastor. Let us now go into what our brother has for us today in this very episode. As you know, I plead with you to please subscribe if you haven't done so, and also do like and share this video, so others out there can also benefit from this conversation. And also hit the notification bell, so you will be notified anytime we upload videos.
Now, as I sit here to tell you about my story, I can tell you that both prophet and a witch. The miracles I used to perform in my church were not solely divine, they were crafted from a blend of faith and witchcraft. My heart aches for the people who always places their trust in prophets, believing they are receiving blessings from above when, in truth, they are entangled in a web of darkness. This is why I wanted to open up to you anyways. It is not to talk about somebody else. Honestly, I really do not care about what someone does. But my aim of agreeing to do this is for people to wake up from blind faith and blind loyalty to these pastors out there. I am not saying all of them, but most of them are doing their own bit and not what they preach. I have been there and done it. And so, I know exactly what I am saying. Nkosi, here before you, is sharing nothing but my own truth. My journey in this life, which has been one of faith intertwined with shadows, a path that has led me to the pulpit and yet shackled me to the secrets of witchcraft. So for this whole conversation to be meaningful, I would love to start from my upbringing, so you can get the whole picture of my entire story. The whole thing is that I was born into a modest family in a small village in Zimbabwe, where my father was a humble farmer and my mother a traditional healer. They instilled in me the importance of spirituality from a young age. Our home was filled with the aroma of herbs and the sound of prayers. While my father toiled under the sun, my mother would often gather people to share stories of ancestral spirits and the power they held. However, in all this, life was not easy. We faced poverty and hardship. There were days when we barely had enough to eat. My family struggled, and as a child, I often felt the weight of our circumstances. Yet, amidst the struggles, I found solace in the church. The vibrant hymns and fervent prayers provided a refuge from the harsh realities of life. So, as I grew older, I began to experience visions, dreams that felt more like revelations. I would see people in pain, suffering from ailments that seemed insurmountable. I would feel a calling to help them, but my family's traditional beliefs conflicted with the teachings of the church. So as I was torn between two worlds, I always sought guidance from both my mother and the church elders. It was during this time that I met a local witch doctor known for his uncanny ability to heal and curse. He was feared and revered in equal measure. It was during this time that my journey into the depth of witchcraft began. One fateful night, I approached him with the idea of him helping me to understand my visions. He agreed to help me and also promised to teach me the ways of his craft, but meeting led me down a path that would forever alter my soul. I remember me going to him one humid evening. He was living in a small structure adorned with animal bones and dried herbs. The air was thick with the scent of incense, mingling with the earthy aroma of the forest. As I stepped inside, I was greeted by dim light and the flickering shadows of candles. You see, my brother, when I first went to Chipo's hut, it was even through him that I got to know that I was having this prophetic gift. His first words that came out of his mouth was, "Why have you come, young prophet?" His voice was very low and gravelly. His piercing eyes seemed to see through me, unraveling my intentions. I didn't understand why he called me prophet and sought to find out why he had called me that. He smiled and told me that, "It is even said that I do not know myself. Until people that I find myself in their company as my teachers and leaders are not helping either." He said again that, "You seek power, and you desire to heal the sick and help your community." He smiled after that and continued that, "But true power and healing comes from understanding the spirits that dwell among us." Chipo agreed to take me under his wing, but warned me that the path I was about to tread was fraught with danger. But because of my obsessing with spirituality, I told him I was ready to go on with whatever he was going to teach me. He first told me that, for him to be able to teach me anything, I must first of all be cleansed and initiated. So, my initiation began with a series of rituals designed to open my mind and spirit to the unseen world. Like I said, I want to take you through the journey so you understand where I am coming from. The first step of my journey was purification. Chipo led me to a river at dawn, where we waded into the cool waters. He instructed me to strip away my clothing, symbolizing the shedding of my old self. As I submerged myself in the river, he chanted incantations in a language I did not understand, invoking the spirits of the water to cleanse me of negative energies. Emerging from the river, I felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. Chipo then smeared mud from the riverbank across my forehead, declaring it a mark of initiation. He said that I was now ready to see beyond. Next, we prepared offerings for the spirits. Chipo taught me how to gather sacred herbs, animal sacrifices, and personal items from those seeking help. Each offering had its significance. For instance, rooster blood was believed to appease the trickster spirits, while maize represented prosperity. We would often venture into the forest at night, where he would lead me in chanting prayers while making offerings at sacred sites marked by ancient stones. The air would crackle with energy as we called upon the spirits to reveal their wisdom. As my training progressed, he introduced me to various methods of communing with spirits. Each method required intense focus and respect for the spiritual realm. You see, one of the first methods I learned was divination using cowrie shells. Chipo explained that these shells held the power to connect with ancestral spirits. He taught me how to cast them on a mat and interpret their patterns. He told me that each shell represents a different aspect of life. He used to guide my hands as I threw the shells. With the shells, the way they land reveals hidden truths. With each reading, I learned to listen not only to the shells but also to the whispers of the spirits around us. Chipo emphasized the importance of dreams as a means of communication from the spirit world. He instructed me to keep a dream journal, recording every vision that came to me during sleep. Together, we would analyze these dreams, searching for symbols and messages from ancestors. Dreams are the bridge between worlds, he would say, encouraging me to pay attention to recurring themes or figures. As I honed this skill, I began to receive warnings and guidance that shaped my path forward. Brother, the secret of human that people really does not teach much is your own ability to dream and be able to understand the message in the dream. With what I have learnt and worked with and come to the realization, if you ask me one advice for anyone, I will tell the person to make time for him or herself. Because if you do, you will start having dreams that will show you the life ahead of you. You see, perhaps the most intense experience came when Chipo initiated me into spirit possession. He prepared a sacred space adorned with candles and offerings, creating an atmosphere ripe for communion. As we danced and chanted together, I felt a shift within me, a powerful presence enveloping my body. In this state of possession, I could hear voices speaking through me. He guided me in channeling these spirits, allowing them to share their wisdom with those seeking help. It was exhilarating yet terrifying, a reminder of the fine line between control and surrender. As I delved deeper into these practices, I began to unlock dark powers that came with great responsibility. One of the most profound abilities I gained was healing. Using herbal concoctions and spiritual energy, I could alleviate pain and cure ailments. Yes, my mother was into the herb things, but this experience with Chipo was something different from my mother's own. This is not to say she was not dealing with issues and helping people. But I mean, with Chipo, there was something different. I remember one instance where he allowed me to work on a child. He was suffering from malaria. The joy on the mother's face was intoxicating, however, I felt an emptiness within me afterward, a reminder that each act of healing took its toll. That was the training I had from Chipo, and I continued to seek guidance from him time to time. Until I grew much into it and started my church. It didn't take much time for people to start coming to my church. Brother, I want to emphasize on the fact that, not because a pastor has a lot of members shows that he is of the true Spirit of God. I want this to sink in with everybody. That has been the new form of Christianity now. People always want to associate themselves with pastors or churches that do have a lot of members. For your information, there are rituals and sacrifices that calls for such numbers, and not necessary from the powers of God. I say this without fear or favor because I have been there. I have met lots of these pastors across Africa, and I tell you I know all that they do. And then cover up by speaking in strange tongues and preach heavy English messages. As months passed, I became increasingly aware of the toll this duality took on my soul. Chipo's teachings echoed in my mind. The spirits demand respect and balance. Yet, as I grew more powerful, I found myself drawn into darker practices that threatened my very being. One evening, he invited me to witness a sacrifice ritual meant to strengthen our connection with powerful spirits. A goat was chosen, its blood meant to seal our pact with the unseen forces. As we chanted and danced around the fire, I felt an overwhelming surge of energy coursing through me. But as the goat lay lifeless before us, I was struck by an unsettling realization. This ritual came at a cost far greater than I anticipated. The spirits demanded blood, not just that of animals but also of those who sought their aid. With every ritual performed and every spirit communed with, I felt an ominous shadow lurking within me, a darkness that whispered doubts and fears into my mind. At times, it became unbearable. I would wake in cold sweats, haunted by visions of spirits demanding payment for their services. I told Chipo about it, and him recognizing my turmoil and offered guidance. He told me to find balance within myself, otherwise, I risk becoming consumed by the darkness. His words rang true as I grappled with my growing powers. Each moment spent in communion with spirits seemed to pull me further away from light. The culmination came during an intense ceremony held under a full moon, a time believed to amplify spiritual energies. Chipo prepared an elaborate altar adorned with offerings meant to honor both benevolent and malevolent spirits. As we began chanting and invoking spirits from both realms, I felt an overwhelming surge of energy wash over me. In that moment, however, something shifted. A powerful spirit emerged, a dark entity that demanded recognition. Fear gripped my heart as I realized this spirit sought not only power but domination over my very soul. Chipo attempted to regain control over the situation, chanting fervently to banish the entity back into the shadows. But it was too late. The dark presence had latched onto my essence, threatening to consume everything I had worked for. So, for every 3 weeks I go to him for us to do other things that he will receive in the realms that will help with the dark entity. But in all this, I still continued my church. I began to perform miracles in my church, healings that left congregants awestruck. They believed I was anointed by God, but little did they know that my powers were rooted in something far more sinister. You see, as my congregation grew, so did my internal conflict. Each healing brought me closer to my community but further away from my moral compass. I witnessed firsthand how people would flock to me for hope, their desperation feeding my ego. The more I healed, the more I craved the adoration that came with it. But with great power came great fear. I became increasingly paranoid, worried that my secrets would be revealed. With this fear in mind, I kept a close circle of trusted allies, but even they could sense the darkness that surrounded me. There were nights when I lay awake, tormented by guilt and the weight of my deception. That is exactly what most pastors go through at night, and they would dress happily in the morning and pretend they are all well. While many individuals experienced miraculous healings after these rituals, it was crucial to understand that such power came with significant consequences, both immediate and long-term. After a healing session, individuals often exhibited various physical reactions. Some would experience vomiting or sweating as their bodies expelled negative energies or toxins. This was seen as a necessary part of the healing process. It was also common for individuals to feel exhausted after a session, as their bodies had undergone significant energetic shifts. But in all, while many left feeling healed, there were instances where individuals encountered spiritual imbalances. In some cases, dark spirits that had been summoned during the ritual could attach themselves to the individual if not properly banished afterward. This sometimes led to lingering feelings of anxiety or malaise. Some individuals became reliant on these dark healing practices, seeking repeated sessions even when not necessary. This dependency could lead to further spiritual entanglement and imbalance. You see, as the healer, I also faced repercussions from unleashing dark energies. Each time I channeled dark spirits, I felt a piece of my essence drain away, a reminder that power comes at a cost. The emotional burden of carrying these energies weighed heavily on my spirit. Let me tell you how these pastors that channel dark energies to heal and do all those miracles go about their preparations. So that when by chance you encounter them, you will know and walk away. Even though most of them will not go through the preparation stages for you to see, I want to talk about it, so that if by chance you see or hear about a pastor in such things, you will know their source and run away from them. Before engaging in any healing ritual, the pastor would prepare both physically and spiritually. The process involved several steps to ensure that he will be aligned with the energies he intends to summon. The first step they will always have go through is purification. He would take a ritual bath infused with herbs known for their cleansing properties, rosemary for protection, sage for purification, and salt for grounding. This bath not only cleansed the physical body but also prepared the spirit to receive and channel powerful energies. After which he would gather essential materials for the ritual. This includes specific herbs like mugwort and vervain were chosen for their ability to enhance spiritual communication. Sometimes too, they will require items belonging to the person seeking healing, such as hair or clothing. These items are crucial for establishing a connection with their spirit. In some cases, a small animal, often a chicken or goat, would be prepared as an offering to appease the dark spirits the pastor intends to invoke. They also can set up a sacred space within the church or at home. This involved an altar adorned with candles, herbs, and the personal items of the individual needing healing. Again, some might make images of deities and spirits that resonated with both Christian and traditional beliefs, and they will be placed around the altar. If it is invoking of dark energies, they would draw a circle on the ground using salt or flour to create a protective barrier against negative energies. Some have advanced these things so that the people might not immediately identify them. You see, once the preparations are complete, the pastor is now ready to begin the healing ritual. This process involved several key stages. Remember that the invocation of spirits is a must. But some do it in a way that you will not realize it. I mean those who have gone deep into it. Sometimes too, the incantations vary depending on the specific need of the individual but often included phrases that honored ancestral spirits and requested their assistance in healing. Spirits of the earth and sky, spirit of the north wind, south, east and west wind, hear my call. Lend me your strength as I seek to heal this soul. Something along these lines is often spoken by the pastors. Some prefer to channel this within themselves. As they invoke these spirits, the pastor would enter a trance-like state, allowing his consciousness to shift. In this state, he could feel dark energies swirling around him, powerful forces that could either heal or harm. At times, they would allow themselves to become a vessel for these spirits, letting them speak through them. At times too, they use someone in the church to do this. This process required immense focus and surrender. So with dark spirits now present, the pastor would now focus on the individual in need of healing. Using their personal items, the pastor would establish a direct link to their spirit. Holding these items close, he would close his eyes and visualize their energy merging with his own energy. Specific incantations are chanted. Sometimes you will think the pastor is speaking in tongues, but deep down, it is an incantation that he is doing. They are designed to invoke healing energies. So, when all these things are done, that is where he will place his hand over you or above your body. This process is him guiding the dark energy toward areas of illness or pain. This manipulation is often accompanied by intense sensations, heat or cold, as the spirits work to remove blockages or negative energies. If deemed necessary, the pastor would perform a small animal sacrifice as an offering to the spirits. Sometimes too, because they want to deceive the congregation, they will not do this in front of them. But will do that when he gets back home to his altar in the house. Because that must be done as a way to appease the spirits for their assistance and also a means of sealing the healing process. Yes, for now I am working on myself. I want to let go of these things. And even if I don't go back to pastoral duties, I want to be free before I embrace my final breath. I hope this conversation with you will enlighten the people that follows you. The world out there is not it seems to be. So, understand it and work towards your own salvation. Like I said, I have done it. I know pastors who are doing it, and they are not the reason why I am here. I want to talk about the things I have done and warn you against it. Peace be upon you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. In this world where shadows linger alongside light, may we all find our way forward, guided by truth and compassion for ourselves and others. For him to admit that the miracles he performed were not solely divine, they were crafted from a blend of faith and witchcraft. My heart aches for those who place their trust in men, believing they are receiving blessings from above when, in truth, they are entangled in a web of darkness. The line between good and evil can blur in our quest for power and recognition. I urge others in positions of influence to examine their paths and recognize the potential for darkness within us all. This conversation with our brother serves as a stark reminder of how easily one can be led astray in pursuit of power and recognition. I hope that this will be a lesson etched in the hearts of those who dare to tread the fine line between faith and fanaticism. In the end, this reminds us that while faith can uplift us, it can also lead us down dark paths if we are not careful about whom we choose to follow. Let this be a lesson for all. Stay grounded in your beliefs and remain vigilant against those who might exploit your dreams for their gain. Let us always use whatever small influence we have to raise awareness about the dangers of sacrificing one's integrity for fame or power and money. When you have a deep connection with God and a commitment to uplifting others, you will find your purpose in this life, purpose beyond what fame could ever offer. We are only here to warn our brothers and sisters about the ways of the evil one amongst even the children of God. It is also not to suggest that any musician out there doing his work is of the evil one. But this is to tell you to be careful because a lot is going on in this world. Let your inner intuition talk to you when you listen to some of the songs out there. Please let us hear your thoughts in the comment section. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.